Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today I'm going to do a little bit of a declutter. I do have everything set aside here that I'll be showing you that I am going to be taking out of my collection. And most of these things I will be selling on my Poshmark, so that will be linked down below. After reviewing everything and reviewing my makeup inventory, I've realized I just have far too much and my collection is just overwhelming. So I really need to cut it down just so that I can feel that it's more manageable and kind of find more enjoyment in it because it's not so overwhelming and so dastardly. So I am going to go ahead and start off with all of the eyeshadows that I will be decluttering. So this one here is my NARS Voyager Shadow palette in Suede. It's a really beautiful palette. It's pretty simple and I love this shade. It's absolutely one of my favorites. But I just find that I have similar shades and I don't tend to reach into this one too often, so I think it's just better for this one to go. I have a lot of eyeshadow and I don't get the most use out of all of them, so I'd rather be able to focus on the ones that I really do love. This is the Too Faced Sparkling Pineapples palette. I kind of lusted over this palette for a very long time, and then I finally found it on sale and I just couldn't resist, but I wish I had. I really do particularly like this duochrome shade. That's what really got me, and I really like this silver shade. But again, it's just not something that I absolutely love. I don't love that this is scented. There's just something that's a little bit off-putting to me about having scented eyeshadows. So I won't be purchasing any more of those, but although it is beautiful and it's beautiful packaging and I love the way it feels, I just don't tend to get too much use out of it. Then I have the Lawless The Little One palette. Again, gorgeous, super convenient and easy to travel with, but not like anyone's doing a lot of traveling now. It is a beautiful formula, but I just find these shades pretty repetitive in my collection. I have them a lot of other places in formulas that I just prefer, although I do really think this is a great formula, and I think especially for being considered more of a clean brand, I do really enjoy it. Next up I have my Pat McGrath palette, and this is the Bronzed Ambition palette. This is another one that I lusted after, but I've just never found it to really make it into everyday use for myself. I just dug my finger into that a little bit. Let's smooth that out. But they are absolutely gorgeous shades. This is really easy to just put in the crease and then put any one of these on the lid. So they do make really easy and beautiful looks. I've just found that it's just not the palette for me. But it is gorgeous. The packaging is, I mean, absolutely stunning. But I just think it can get better use in somebody else's collection. And then we also have here the Lawless The One. So this is the big palette with all of these gorgeous shades. God, I particularly love butterflies. I absolutely love yellow shades. And this is, again, is just, I have a lot of these similar shades in other palettes, and I'm not a super fan of like these super warm tones, so it's just not the most used in my collection, and it's pretty untouched. I haven't gotten a lot of use out of this, and just with as much as I have, it's just another thing that I really feel that I should be getting out and making space for me to really enjoy the other makeup I have. And then I have this one. This is the Amethyst Holographic palette from KVD, and it looks pretty simple when you look at it, but they all have a color changing shift. So this will shift green, this blue, this a purple, and this into a pink. So they are really gorgeous, but I've just found that, I don't know, my style of makeup is not within this. I do have one highlighter that's pretty similar to the purple shifting one here, and that's more than enough for me to feel that creative space with that kind of makeup style. So it's just not something that gets use in my collection. And then lastly, I just have two of these Urban Decay single shadows, one in Pistol and one in Mildew. They're both really gorgeous. Single shadows are not something that get a whole lot of use in my collection, so I'd rather get them out and choose somebody who will just get more use out of them. So that's all the eyeshadows. And let's see, we also have some cheek products coming up. That's definitely another large part of this declutter, because those were where my makeup collection was really overwhelmed and where I just wasn't completely in love with things and this, that, and the other. So on here we do have the Too Faced Ray of Light. This was something I had lusted after this for so long, and then it was getting discontinued, and I got a lot of use out of it. I was actually kind of trying to pan it for when I first got it, but I've just found that there's just something about it that I don't quite like. I really like the tone, but there's just something in the formula that's just not for me. So it would just be better for me to get that one out of here because of how long it takes to use up highlighters, and it's just been shown that it's just not really for me in that one. I also have this Tarte blush in Corky that I got from an Ipsy bag. I've used it a few times, but it's just never been my color, and it wasn't something that I picked out, and I just find that I really don't get any use out of it. This is a little NARS palette in Talia, I believe. And it has these two different shades. I believe it's supposed to be a contour palette, but it's far too dark for me to do that. I would use this shade as a bronzer and actually this as a blush, which was very beautiful, but I just have so many other things and it's not something I get a whole lot of use out of. So I figured just better to let that one go because of how long those powder cheek products do take to use up. Oh, this one here is actually a pretty special product that I have. I actually got this on my last trip to Spain, and it's an ambient light palette. It has diffuse light, euphoric fusion, and luminous bronze light. And what I was looking for, they actually had quite a few of these. I decided that I was not going to purchase any makeup there unless it was something that I was not able to get in the States. And they had several of these little palettes with different combinations of their finishing powders, blushes, and bronzers. I settled on this one because I wanted one that had one of each, but with that, this blush is not really my kind of color, and not even the bronzer is. So I wish I had gone with one that only had one setting powder and two blushes. There were a lot of those, and I think that would have suited my needs much better than this does. But I've just never gotten much use out of it, although it's an absolutely gorgeous palette, and I just would love to see somebody else receive it and get a lot of love out of it. So there is that one. Ooh. I also have the Jouer. This was the Cheeky Summer Blush Duo. So we have Terracotta Sands and Hot Coral. This was a limited edition release. I'm not sure if you can still get it. This was supposed to be a bronzer and a blush. They're just very shimmery and they're not quite what I'm looking for. I did enjoy it a lot when I had first got it in the summer, and I was just doing this all over the cheeks and would kind of use a draping technique between the two of them, and it was very beautiful, but I just find that this is not particularly what I like to use in a blush overall, and there's other things that I can kind of substitute these for, so I just don't find them necessary within my collection. I also have this Cover FX palette. I'm in the Rose Gold Bar Highlighting Palette, so it has 24 karat gold, white gold, and rose gold. It is very beautiful, a great highlighting palette, but I have actually two other palettes for highlighting that have a gold shade, a kind of more white champagne, and then a pink toned. So this was just my least favorite out of the three that I have, which is why I've decided to get rid of this one. And then I do have, let me come to some of these singles. So I have the Essence Pure Nude Space Light, and this is in the shade Be My Space Light. I'm not sure if you can tell, but there is a pink reflect on this, and it is just not my kind of style. I tend not to gravitate towards anything too pink, so that's just never been one that I've really found to be quite useful in my collection. This is the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. I got this in an Ipsy, it's just too bold for me. I tried using it a little bit, as you can see, but it was really just never something that suited me. I also have here the NARS Laguna bronzer, but this is like a matte version. I'm not exactly sure, but it wasn't the original bronzer, but it is very beautiful. But it's, again, just, I have a lot of other things that are very similar to it, and I just tend to reach over this one for those. So it's just something that, again, doesn't get a whole lot of use, and they take so long to use up. And this is the NARS highlighter in Alabaster. It's a beautiful gold highlighter. It's just a little bit too gold for me. I think I've mentioned before that very intense gold products are just also not something that I gravitate towards. I'd prefer something a little bit more neutral. I also have the Smashbox, the Cali Contour Palette. And this is something that I thought would be really good to just have everything all in one. But I've just found I don't really reach for it, and I just don't have too much of a purpose for it in my collection. So I'd rather just try and sell it and get it to somebody who will have more use out of it. And then this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in light to medium. And then I have actually, I did depot this and repress the Bertini bronzer. I don't believe it's the original formula. I believe it's the one that's just deeper than that. But I have really enjoyed this palette, but it's just not something I tend to gravitate towards. And because I just have so many other things, it's just not been something I found a whole lot of use out of. And I know it would take me forever to get through for something that isn't my absolute favorite. But I mean, people rave about this, and it is an amazing formula. It really is. It's just, for whatever reason, I'm not drawn to it. So that's the reason I'm gonna let that one go. And then here I do actually have some non-powder products. This one here is a Bite Multi-Stick in Brioche. It was just a little gift with sample. I actually do have another one of these, so I have absolutely no use, although it is an absolutely gorgeous color. But these take so long to get through as is, and just with me already having one, it's just not the best for me to keep in my collection. And also come to this highlighting stick. It's the ColourPop Stick Light, and this one is in the shade Starbright. I mean, really, I think I've only swatched it 2 or 3 times. I have another one, I believe it's in the shade Earth, but I would have to double check, and I just far prefer that one to this. This is just much more intense, and it's not the kind of highlight that I go for. I also have this Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this is in the shade Opal. Again, I have something very similar to this from Milani, just a liquid highlighter, and that one is just, again, less intense, and it's more my style. But it's just something that I think somebody else can get a lot better use out of than I can. Alright, and then here are our last few odds and ends. So I guess I will go ahead and do these 2 mascaras. I have the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara, which I got from this year's birthday gift at Sephora. I've never opened it, and I'm just not too interested in trying it. I really prefer mascaras that come off very easily, and I have not heard that this is super easy to remove, which is why I'm going to go ahead and sell this one, especially because it's unopened. This Fenty one, again, it's unopened. I haven't heard too much about it, but I do think somebody would be really interested in getting the chance to try that, and it's just not something that interests me at all. I do have one complexion product that I'm going to declutter. It is the RMS Beauty Uncover Up Concealer in 11.5. I actually bought this during the pandemic, and I've only swatched it once, well, I guess twice in the sitting that I was playing with it. It is absolutely not my color. It is far too pink toned for me. So because there's so late use on it, I'm also going to sell this one. And then another one that I have used is the Fenty Beauty, what does this say? It is the Slick Shine Sheer Shiny Lipstick. Whew, what a name. And this is in the shade Makeout Breakout. I really thought I was gonna like the shade. This is also something I bought in the pandemic, so I was not able to swatch in store to make sure that it would work for me, and I just find that it is far, far too light for me. So there is very minimal usage on it. So I'm going to go ahead and try and sell this one too. I wish I had liked it, but it just really wasn't for me. And then I also have this Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Rubino. It's just not something I'm interested in. I've never opened it. It came in an Ipsy. It looks like a beautiful color, but I just don't really go too well with liquid lipsticks at all. They're just not my preference. And then the last thing I have is actually the Kiar Weiss Collector's Kit, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The purpose is to buy some of their products and then use this to fill up and make your own custom palette. I do have some blushes and highlighters, and I do have two of the kind of lip product they have here, and I used to have a foundation. I did get that all used up, but they really don't have a very good shade for me in the foundation. And then I bought two eyeshadows, two of the cream shadows, thinking they would fit in here, and these are actually just for their powder shadows. So this ended up not really being something that worked out well for me, and it was very expensive, so I'm going to sell that as well. So that is everything. Like I said, you will be able to find all of this on my Poshmark, which I will go ahead and link below. I'm not going to allow myself to post this video until I have everything up on my Poshmark, because I had actually gone through about in the beginning of December and did a declutter, and I actually think I had more things than I have sitting here. I'm really quite determined to use things up now. But they kind of just sat in a drawer for the month, not being sold, and me not doing anything with them. So I really am making the effort this time to go ahead and move them out rather than just them sitting and waiting. But I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you check out my Poshmark, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.